Today I'm going to teach you the 3 common mistakes that you should avoid when renting out your home. If you're a new landlord, this is the perfect video for you so that you can avoid the mistakes that a lot of other people have made and that I've made myself. So the first common mistake that people make when renting out their home is that they don't screen the tenants or the potential tenants. If you're only going to have one tenant living in your home at one time, that tenant is going to be very important to your business, and this is a business if you're going to go and rent out your home. It's not a hobby. So you want to make sure that that tenant is the correct person to live in your home. So make sure you screen them. And here are a couple tips how, even though I did already make a video on this. The first thing that I'm going to look at in a tenant is to make sure that they make enough income to support the rent. And I personally like to make sure that they make 3 times the rent. So if I'm going to charge $1,000 of rent, I want to make sure that they earn at least $3,000 every single month. Second thing that I personally look at is credit score, and I use a simple 650 credit score because it's good enough for a lot of banks to get loans, and if it's good enough for these big banks, it's good enough for me. I also run a background check on every single one of the applicants, and for the applicants that have made it to almost the end of the screening process, I actually also try to call their previous landlords to make sure that they're a good tenant. And maybe I don't just call the most recent one, I want to call all of them because some might have had different experiences with them and they might say different things, like their current landlord specifically, they might just say they're amazing tenants just because they want to get rid of them. Who knows? So make sure you screen your tenants. That's the first mistake. The second mistake is to have a strong lease agreement. A lot of people think that business is just handshakes. They're not just handshakes. You want to have a strong lease agreement in place so that if and when things go wrong with you and the tenant, you have a lease outlining exactly what the rule was. And I actually would highly suggest that you consult a real estate attorney to help you with your lease, whether you already have a lease yourself that you found from Google and you just want them to revise it, or if you want them to draft it yourself. Yes, it does cost a little bit more money to do so, but it could save you a lot of money in the long run. Because court, when things go bad, gets expensive, and you do not want to be in that position if you don't have a strong lease. So don't rely on any handshakes. Everything should be written down on the lease, and if you want to add more rules, talk with a tenant, make an addendum to the lease, so have something else written and signed by both you and the tenant. So that's mistake number 2, make sure you have a strong lease agreement. And the third mistake is not budgeting enough for ongoing maintenance and repairs. Now, a lot of people, when they go and rent out their home, they think that their profit is simply going to be the difference between the rent and their mortgage and maybe insurance. But they don't account for ongoing maintenance and repairs and capital expenditures. So maintenance and repairs, those are the little things that break that you will most likely be responsible for. So maybe your sink breaks just after normal wear and tear, or maybe toilet breaks or whatever. Things break in homes typically, and often the tenant's gonna call you and you're gonna replace it. Unless they maybe do it themselves for free, that would be cool. And you have to make sure you budget for that in the very beginning if you wanna make this a profitable operation. Same thing goes for capital expenditures, the big ticket items. So maybe you have a 19-year-old water heater and the life on that water heater is 20 years old. You know that in about a year, the life of that water heater is kind of nearing its end, and you want to prepare for those big ticket items. So budget for that in the very beginning. That's a big common mistake that people make, and I don't want you to make it yourself. So those are the 3 things that I think are the biggest mistakes that new landlords have when they rent out their homes. So don't make those same mistakes, and I'm gonna give you a quick recap on it. Number 1, not screening your tenants. Number 2, not having a strong enough lease in place. And number 3, not budgeting enough for common repairs and maintenance and capital expenditures. I hope these tips have been helpful, and I'm doing a giveaway in this video. I'm giving away a book that's had a very big impact on me. If you want to enter the giveaway to give you a chance to win this book, make sure you comment down below and subscribe to my channel. And I'll be announcing the winner on my Instagram story in 2 days. I'll see you at the next one.